Hello, I'm Blake.
And I'm Bo, and welcome to the What the Friday podcast.
In this episode, Noah has been speaking to Danny from Invictus Wellbeing about the challenges young people face when opening up about their mental health.
Let's hear how they got on.
Hi, my name's Noah, and today I'm joined by Danny, the Chief Executive of Invictus Wellbeing, and we're going to be talking about opening up to mental health.
Yeah, nice to be here, Noah. Thank you.
My first question is, why is it so hard to open up about how we're really feeling, especially when we're not trying to get attention, just support?
Yeah, I think we see a really common problem just like this when young people come through the door for the first time. I think young people feel like they're going to be judged, that what they're saying is different or strange to how other people are feeling, so they're going to feel misunderstood. And also to the friends, to the family and that kind of stuff, it can feel like you're almost being a bit dramatic or attention seeking. I think with young people these days as well, there's a particular challenge. You're comparing yourself constantly to people online and people who are looking amazing, doing amazing things, and that Instagram life, I suppose. And I think those things can really make it hard to open up and seem vulnerable and talk about what's not going so well in your life and what you're struggling with. But it's absolutely not. We're all going to go through difficult stages, and it's really important that we have those emotional intelligence skills to actually open up and ask for help when we need it. And it's not a weakness, it's actually a sign of courage and strength, really. So I'd encourage anyone to go and get some help if they're struggling with how they're feeling.
Of course. Totally have to agree with that. So what would you say to someone who wants to talk to their friends about it but is afraid that they'd be seen as like overdramatic or attention seeking?
Yeah, I think if how you're feeling is genuinely valid, then any good friend's going to listen to them and validate how you're feeling and want to have a conversation about it. A good start by choosing someone you trust and saying something like, I'm not looking for attention, I just need someone to hear me. And real friends won't judge you on that. And if they do, that's more on them than you. And it's not, as I said, a weakness to ask for help and reach out for help. You know, it's a strength and everyone deserves to be heard. And if you don't feel like you can speak to a friend, and if you do get knocked back there, then there's plenty of other places you can get someone out there to listen to you.
Yeah, no, totally, I agree. So why do some people feel like they have to hide how they're feeling in high school, like there are unwritten rules about how they're supposed to act?
Yeah, really good question, Noah. And I think it's not a new problem. I felt that when I was in school. I'm in my 30s now, and I'm sure my parents did too. And I think it's that pressure to fit in. And again, you guys at your age have got that pressure to fit in, but you also can't escape that social circle. You've got WhatsApp, Snapchat, TikTok when you go home, and you're also, as I say, potentially comparing yourself to people right across the world. That's really difficult. And I think that can make expressing real emotions feel really risky. And there's that silent rule to be funny, tough, or low key. And I think we are having more conversations about mental health. I think your generation are a generation that's having a lot more conversations and feeling more expressive about how you're feeling, but at the same time you are almost wanting to be perfect as well, and you know, and compare yourself to others, and I think that can be really, really difficult. So you heard this a million times, but try and be yourself, speak to people you trust, and surround yourself by people who make you happy.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Surrounding yourself with people who make you feel happy is just a surefire way to success, really, when it comes to how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree.
Some students feel disconnected from school systems. They don't trust school counselors or feel the support is even meant for them. Why does this happen, and what should they do?
Yeah, I think that's really common, Noah, and I hear this all the time from young people coming to see us, that schools can be very focused on results and behaviour and focusing on rewarding top achievers, or actually rewarding as well people who are really struggling with behaviour, and then they're acting as well behaved and then they get a reward. But I was very much the same at school. I was kind of in that middle ground, and that can feel tough when you're constantly comparing yourself to others. I think sometimes, you know, school staff and pastoral staff and school counsellors, they're overwhelmed, and often it can be really difficult to conduct counselling in a school environment where you've got people bashing on the windows or running past. That can be really difficult. So I'm not saying don't have school counselling, and every school is different, and a lot of schools do it absolutely amazingly. But if you are really struggling and you don't think school counselling is for you, there's loads of alternatives. There's places like people like us in Invictus and other mental health charities. There's online, you get places like COOF where you're having tech support, and there's also plenty of youth organisations you can reach out to as well. But I wouldn't say don't try it, but if it's really not for you, then there's plenty of other places you can get support.
Yeah. That feeling of someone's going to find out, like, you're hiding your struggles, where does that come from, and how can someone deal with it?
I think that's linked to shame and stigma. I don't think there's a single person in the world who can honestly say that they've never cared a single iota about what people think of them, and they're not worried about that. So the truth is, so many people are silently dealing with issues going on in their life, and that can often spiral into mental health challenges. So just finding a group of people, one person to speak to, finding a safe space, to be honest, online or with a friend or in therapy, can really help reduce that fear and normalise how you're feeling. And I think, again, for young people and children particularly, I think sometimes you feel that what you're feeling is not normal. and in 99% cases feel validated that it is normal and it's okay to feel that way. And actually speaking about it can just really take the anxiety away, because you can almost have anxiety about feeling anxious as well. It can be a bit of a cycle.
Definitely. Some people say college is better because no one cares. Is that actually freeing or just isolating?
I think college is a completely different ball game. You've got less structure, you've got more autonomy around your education. No one's going to come chasing or looking after you potentially if you don't turn up in the morning. So I think that can be really empowering, but it can also make people struggle and feel isolated as well. So I think that's the thing. If you are feeling lonely or isolated, speak to someone about that. Try and join a group or a hobby club or something like that, and reach out to someone else that you could speak to. There's usually plenty of pastoral stuff offered by college. Sixth forms are exactly the same. So it's different, but that's okay. And we've got to adapt to change and be resilient when we face those issues. So it's not easy, but it's something you can definitely get through.
No, yeah, totally, yeah. So how can someone build the confidence to start opening up, even if they've never done it before?
It's all in stages and it's all in increments. So start small, and you don't have to tell your full story right away, and you're not having to necessarily go on camera and talk about it. You could even just try and expressing it yourself and putting into words how you feel yourself. You can do that through journaling, speaking out loud, videoing yourself, recording yourself, or just speaking to a really close and trusted friend. That could work too. Confidence grows with experience, and every time you speak and open your mouth, that gets a lot easier, I would say.
Yeah. I feel like there's a real big fear of being pushed away or treated differently after opening up. How do you deal with that risk?
Yeah, it's a legitimate risk, and it's part of life, finding out who you can trust and who you feel safe around and who's not. If someone reacts negatively, that doesn't mean that your feelings weren't real. It means that maybe that person wasn't the right person to speak to, and that's where the power of maybe speaking to a professional or a counsellor can come in, because they've got the qualifications, skills and knowledge to be able to do that. But teachers, youth workers, our staff and people in the community, or your friends, parents, you've just got to find that person that works for you, and I think that's the best way to deal with it.
100%. What are some safe, youth-friendly places or platforms where young people can go for help if they're not ready to talk to someone?
There's so many great organisations out there that you can speak to on the phone, you can do a chat message to, or you could actually bring your parents in as well if you just felt like you needed someone supporting that person. If you're really not feeling yourself, or you're feeling like you can't keep yourself safe, I'd definitely recommend somewhere like Shout or Crisis Text Line, or mental health apps like Mindshift, Calm or Headspace can just give you a couple of real techniques and tips. There's Young Minds, The Mix in Coof. You can access an online counsellor either through text message or over the phone. That's really good. And then often there's youth centres and stuff that offer drop-in clinics around mental health as well. And all of these are designed to be anonymous, judgment-free and easily accessible, going at your pace. So if you don't feel like you're ready to take that step to speak to someone in person, I'd definitely recommend one of those.
Yeah. And finally, what's one thing you wish every young person knew about opening up and asking for help?
Asking help doesn't make you weak or vulnerable. It actually is a strength to be able to communicate how you feel, and it shows really good resilience and emotional intelligence. And as young people, you're going to have to develop those skills, because you're going to go through problems in life, and opening up and speaking about it can be the best way to go about sorting that problem out. You're not a burden. Someone will listen to you. Someone is there to speak to you. Even if it's not someone you know, there's someone out there will happily speak to you and give you some real practical tips, techniques and strategies to deal with how you're feeling and what your thoughts are. And just reach out and just try it. Don't suffer alone, because things rarely get better if you don't reach out and you keep it all into yourself. It's better to get it out there and get the help you need.
Yeah. So Danny, thank you very much for coming out and talking to me about how young people can open up to either a family member or someone online in a completely anonymous way, so they don't feel scared about doing it. And I'm sure that information will help many young people out there be able to deal with their emotions much better.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. No, I've really enjoyed it. Some really insightful questions, and I've been keeping an eye on your destination app as well. Really good, and hopefully I'll make an appearance as well on a couple.
Yeah. Of course, if you want to listen to more podcasts like this, check out the Destination app or the website. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Noah and Danny, and for Miroslav for producing. We hope you found that as interesting as we did.
Not only did they host the episode, but they also undertook all the research too.
You can find lots of interesting podcasts on a variety of subjects by exploring the useful podcast section on our Destination web app. Search destination.org.uk.
You can also find them on Apple, Spotify or YouTube.
If you would like to know more information about these subjects discussed, please check the podcast description.
We'd like to thank Invictus and the National Lottery for their support, Jimmy for editing and Youth Social for producing.